Hello, and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including DuckTales, which we'll be talking about today. I'm your host, Bonilla, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Steve Zec.
Hi.
Today we are continuing our coverage of DuckTales. We are covering the final 4 episodes of the season that just aired this past week. We have Timephoon, GlomTales, The Richest Duck in the World, and the season finale Moonvasion, which was a double-length episode. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. You can catch up on our previous DuckTales coverage, last week's episodes, and the rest of our talk at overlyanimated.com. You can find our DuckTales feed at overlyanimated.com/iTunes. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. We recently added playlists to the YouTube channel, and if you want to make binging a little bit easier, catching up on our various show coverage. But yeah, wherever you listen to us, we appreciate the ratings, reviews, and any listens. But yeah, we'll be talking today about the finale of DuckTales, the season finale. There's a lot of different topics we could go into, but we'll begin as usual with general thoughts, how you guys are feeling. Michelle, let's go to you first. After this week of DuckTales, where were you at?
So this is, to clarify, this is not just the finale, but the other 3 episodes too, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about 4.
Well, it's kind of like an arc, you know, so...
Yeah. It is kind of
It's like a Netflix, like one thing led to another thing.
It's like a mini duck bomb, I suppose. A contained arc. Well, I really like this show. I really like this season. I was a big fan of all of these episodes. I think, personally, Timephoon and GlomTales were the most fun, and the second half of Moonvasion I felt like was significantly stronger, just because like it was a lot funnier and it had high stakes and a good payoff, so I was all about that. I kind of really love GlomTales, even though it was a really dumb episode. And I think Glomgold is just low-key becoming my discount brand box man in his absence, you know? So that's a big part of it too. But I really like these episodes. Plus it was nice, just to see Della trying to figure out how to be mom. And I felt like Green Shirt getting grounded was totally justified. But then he did his thing and then he had to learn a lesson. But also mad props. He gotta be the richest duck in the world, and he's what? 11?
11.
He's a young duck, so that's pretty cool. Also, Penumbra. This is a tangent, but I'll just say the fact that Launchpad was hitting on her felt like the biggest no homo I've seen in a show in a long time. Because Della and Penumbra, I was feeling it, you guys. I hadn't shipped them before. I was feeling it in the finale, and then that Launchpad thing happened, and I was like, did the show just throw this in at the end to give us no hope for the gay? Is that all this was? Because Launchpad has a million ladies at this point.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like it was clear she was reciprocal on his feelings. I mean,
that's true. I think he's kind of into the fact that she could crush him, but also Penumbra and Della, though, they make such a good team. But those are my opening thoughts in general.
I'm glad we hit on Launchpad Penumbra in initial thoughts, but
such a no homo, Alex. I'm not going to get over it.
Well, they might be young, but we still have Webby and Lena, so.
Oh, that's true. Thank you.
Okay, Steve, your general thoughts on this week of episodes and on the finale?
Oh, it delivered, man. It was awesome. Each episode kind of better than the next. I kind of agree with Michelle. Kind of GlomTales was kind of maybe when it peaked, really, because I don't know. I love villain team-ups and stuff, and I also love how they made it clear why villain team-ups never work out, because mostly villains, they have egos, and egos get in their way, so of the common goal right there. And I love how throughout that episode, toward the end, everyone was ignoring Glomgold and thought Magica was the mastermind and stuff, and what we find out later in the very last scene that Magica's coworker was wow, but And as for the arc here, I mean, Big Louie arc here, like I said, he deserved to get grounded. Maybe did him some good. And I love how Della was sort of one step ahead of him, like with keeping enforcing the grounding. And the only reason it didn't work was because the villains invaded the mansion. So is that not really like Della's fault? Or I wouldn't take the whole Launchpad Penumbra thing too seriously, though. We'll see what happens there. I'm with you, Michelle. I'm on whole Della Penumbra thing. So
yes.
Oh, what else? And Lunarius. I mean, oh my! Talk about a fitting punishment. Oh, and lastly, we can't forget though. We had a big surprise guest star in the episode. We had Melon Mickey Mouse. And
we're gonna get to that Castaway stuff. That was amazing.
Oh, wait! I got a little guest here. Yeah. Hey, everybody, hot dog. Do you like the episode? I love to make my guest appearance here. Anyway, gotta go.
Oh my god.
Well,
yes.
That was an improvement on the Donald impression. So
well, that's an easier voice to do. That's much easier than Donald. Donald
right,
so hard.
Good. You did good.
Yeah, that was
and he's
acceptable one.
10 times bigger icon than Luca would ever be. So
okay, sure. So my general thoughts on here. I am in strong agreement that GlomTales was the most entertaining piece of this week, just because Glomgold is a treasure. I think that DuckTales does its goofy villains pretty well, and so when it put them all together with Glomgold as a leader, it just felt right, it felt natural, and so like seeing them all like bicker together is great fun.
How about Beaks' shirt? I am 10 years old.
Lots of little gags in that episode that we'll probably break down. Della having a learning how to be a responsible parent arc was inevitable, but I think that they handled it okay. Especially like with like Louie, you know, he's a character that has been getting off scot-free for most of this show, so it also feels like okay, it's time to like put him in his place. So that all felt done pretty well.
And also they did good parallels here at the very end. We saw parallels to Louie and Gladstone, and we kind of see how Gladstone pretty much never gets comeuppings. He always gets away with anything. He's such a lazy little guy. So
the finale in particular, it was very impressive in terms of like of tying in the Moon people and giving it this kind of epic feel that the Shadow War had too. Similar vibes of like everything getting dark and spooky, but like this one kind of had the bonus like Glomgold gets inserted to like add the levity to it, and the
best part.
Yeah, the angle of like defeating the villain in the season finale by doing the dumb plan is I don't think it's a strategy that I've seen many show finales do. It felt refreshing in a way. It's like wow, like this epic thing is going to end with like some like crazy scheme that would only Glomgold would be capable of, and I love that.
And,
so that's.
As Glomgold is the world's savior, man, he's never gonna let Scrooge live that down.
And he shouldn't, you know. He
shouldn't. He
deserves a win for once.
Yeah, he deserves to claim that credit. So good for Glomgold. I think that he was greatly used in this week. Now I want to bring up a question here because this is a feeling I got after I finished the finale. I thought it was really good. We got the thing at the end where it's like it's setting up season 3 with these vultures who've been foul. It's now their villain thing. I know it's a reference from DuckTales in 1987 as again.
Actually, a reference to Darkwing Duck.
Okay.
Series, but
so it's been used in DuckTales adjacent shows before. So like this kind of like a dark supervillain group. Gander D I recognize, but the other people I didn't really recognize as being in the show.
Funzo's one of them. Funzo, the guy who works at the amusement park, we find out he's one of them.
He's
John
like a sketchy, dark person underneath his costume.
And Rocker Duck, remember from that Wild West flashback episode? He's among them.
Yeah, so they're very like side characters or characters
and the chicken and the Steelbeak, the chicken dude. He was a character in Darkwing Duck.
Right.
Duck.
Okay. Well, I bring that up to say that I was very impressed with this final episode of Moonvasion, and it was like animated really well. It gets all the characters involved. It gets our goofy villains involved. It does, and it wraps up a big thing that was connected to Della with the moon stuff. So to me, this kind of felt like if this was a series finale, I'd have been very happy. Like, this, like, I could have ended here and I'd be fine. And like season 3, I'm not really hooked on it. So like, I don't know if I feel.
We don't know what it means. We have no idea what the vultures have in store. But I will say, like, there are so many just callbacks to like so many characters from the last 2 seasons, which I think adds credence to why it feels like it could be a series finale. Alex. Plus, it's like the entire Duck family is fighting for Earth and like is in that spaceship at the end. And that's just like, it's insane to see them all together because there's so many people now. Mm-hmm. But that also like makes it feel like way more amplified, I'd say, than the stakes of season 1 for sure. It just feels like a huger cast now.
Can you believe though if they cut that last scene with Fowl and ended there, that could have worked as a series finale. Though imagine though if they actually kept the scene with Fowl as a cliffhanger, but that was the series finale. Imagine how angry people would be. Like
people, yeah, but like I don't know. Like I just feel like
all I know is we still don't have Daisy in the show, so it can't end yet. And I know next season we're getting that. So
yeah, so I think there's a disconnect between like people who have the nostalgia for all these characters that are like have appeared in one episode. It's like, oh, but they're gonna get a bigger role, and me is just like, well, am I really invested in a whole season of these being our main villains? Like, it's a very tough sell to me.
Alex, it depends on what they do. Alex, I feel like this season's whole arc was about like family making like maybe new choices or stepping out into like this chapter that they've never had to before. But maybe season 3 is going to be like really menacing and they're going to try to like emotionally tear the family apart to destroy their power. Like it could be the dark season, and I love a dark season.
Oh, season 3 is always the dark seasons. Like Sailor Moon's 3rd season was the dark season.
There you go. It's going to be the dark season, Alex.
I'm sure.
Alex,
can I go and sell the show to you there? 2 words. Get smart. Because next
that means
season,
nothing to me.
Well, next season we're going to have spy versus spy like parody stuff. And I'll tell you, one of the funniest things I've ever seen is the 1960 sitcom Get Smart. So if they take any notes from that show in this season, I think we're in for a treat.
So look,
I want to see Get Smart. That's a great show.
Yeah, that last 30 seconds meant nothing to me. But look, another thing with this, Michelle, you mentioned that like a theme of this season has been with the family like getting closer together, and I'd argue that's always been a theme of the show. Like even from the pilot, like that's the main thing. It's like, oh, there's a missing piece of our family, and we need it to make it complete.
And it's like the restructuring too. It's like, what do we do now that Della's here? How is that going to change everything? I feel like that's been a bigger part of this season. But
yeah. And so it feels almost like it's kind of culminated with this like last arc of Della like setting herself in the motherly role, and they have like the scene at the end of all of them together in the ship, and Scrooge is like, I miss this, like seeing Donald and Della. Like it feels very like triumphant, like, oh look, we're finally all together again. Like,
so are you saying
that's why we got to tear them apart now in season 3?
So you're saying
the dark side.
So you're saying the season finale was too good for you, Alex?
Well, it felt like a climax. And like I don't know if I want to do like going backwards.
Alex, can I just say though, next season hopefully we'll get into Webby's origins, because there's a theory going around the internet that Webby is really a clone of Mrs. Beakley.
Yeah, see, look, if you need to resort to clone theories to be interested in a 3rd season, then I'm not buying.
No, I'm just telling you, Sarah, if you guys believe that theory or not.
I
Why
don't.
would anyone even say that? Why?
Because people need to do clone theories to spice up their lives.
Hey, it worked. Hey,
Why do that when they can ship Penumbra and Della? That's enough spice for me.
It's happening. I'm pretty sure that's happening. And you already got confirmed. A gay couple. Violet's parents. They're two gay dudes. So that's been confirmed. So.
Oh really? Oh, that's cool. I hope we see them in the show.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was my main thought going into it, but we shall see. But it definitely feels very epic, this finale, the Moonvasion. I guess Michelle, of like the 4 episodes or of the let's focus on the finale first, I guess.
Okay.
Of the finale, is there anything specifically that stood out to you, or something that impressed you, or got a big reaction out of you from the 44 minutes of it?
Like I said before, I feel like the second half is definitely the stronger of the two, because the first half just feels like we're running around, a lot of action is happening, oh no, the moon invasion is here. But the second half's like really funny. We got Castaway references, we got Glomgold referencing like that Jaws sailor, and then we have the crazy Glomgold plot, and it's executed perfectly. So I feel like those 2 moments in particular really stood out to me. Like the Donald Castaway thing is like the craziest idea, but it makes so much sense because we know he crash landed somewhere and he hasn't been in the show for like a handful of episodes at this point. So for him to have like a Mickey Wilson equivalent out of watermelon, which also doesn't like, so if he's eating sand and seaweed, like why did he never eat his friend? I mean, he's made out of watermelon.
Because he wouldn't eat. Donald's a good guy. He would not eat his friends.
I mean, I guess so, but I mean, so that's just like, it's amazing. That's amazing. And then Glomgold just like having the most insane plan. Like, yeah, he gets his Beakley to dress up as like a little 10-year-old boy. Launchpad to Prague, and then Scrooge has to be Santa, which is like viscerally making him uncomfortable when he's on the sleigh. It's just so good. I loved it a lot.
And before the finale, the crew said there would be deaths in the finale, and the death count here, a lot of some gyro clones on one of the light bulb things, and of course, Melon Mickey. R.I.P. Melon Mickey.
Oh yeah, they ate him. That was pretty horrifying for Donald. I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure it reached the emotions of Tom Hanks losing his volleyball in the ocean, losing Mickey. I will say that the Mickey voice was very on point. I don't think
whoever's doing Mickey, like it's Disney. They probably just got that guy to come in for a day to be
actually, the voice of Mickey and Storkleys are the same, so.
There you go. You just got to do it.
But I was going to say, like, I think it's physically impossible for Donald to have done that. I don't
know, man. Donald's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He could pull it off, I think.
Like, if he can do that, then why doesn't he just talk like that all the time?
Well, last season, remember for that brief period finale, he talked like a normal person.
That's true.
And I also mentioned many times that Mickey and Donald was my very first gay ship, so.
Wait, really? I didn't know this.
Well, I thought Mickey was a girl at the time, but still, it counts. I was like 5 years old or so.
Okay. Alex, what was your favorite part of the
finale? I enjoyed Glomgold. I'm sorry, I'm broken. I can't focus on anything right now. Glomgold saying stuff like I survived like a Scottish cockroach. The Glomgold PowerPoints are always good in this show. Like they use that all the time. And like this episode, it was very good. It's like just showing him off doing push-ups.
But he's not Scottish.
Well, yes, that's the reminder, right? I think he does get his beard ripped off at some point during this. It's just a good, reminder that even the beard is fake.
I forgot his beard was fake.
Yeah, and agreed that like just his entire planning is just great. Of like also like the sharks in parkas, they're called sharkas.
Sharkas. Oh, Glomgold was good too.
Yeah. So just Glomgold, all in all, was really great. I will also say for when they go into space, I feel like their animation of the ships like flying around each other is like up a notch because like it feels the 3D like really stands out when they're like shooting off the turrets and it feels almost like Star Warsy in a way. So I was really impressed by the work they did in the space fight sequences.
Are you just shocked though that General Lunaris, he's not dead, but he's pretty much stranded there forever.
That's a little horrifying, honestly. What a slow, painful death.
He'll probably die of starvation.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, though, during the climax of the fight, he said something about, haha, take that, Della. When I thought Scrooge was his main enemy. That just felt weird.
I think maybe he thought Della was realistically the only one that could stop him. Because I said, he planned so much for Scrooge, but I don't know if he really planned for Della.
Yeah, and again, he just ignored Webby and Mrs. Beakley as potential threats.
Yeah, and they were off busy doing their own thing.
But the biggest
was, dressed as a farmer person.
She's cosplaying a child.
But the biggest underestimation, of course, was him underestimating Glomgold.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really though.
Who can blame him?
Lunaris' delivery of none of this makes any sense.
Yeah,
it's like
so
really good.
I will say Lunaris felt legitimately intimidating during this finale. Like, I kind of didn't care about him until now, but just like seeing how much like he was freaking out Scrooge did a lot for me to believe that he actually was a pretty menacing bad guy.
And Donald called him a monster, in case you understood. Did you get that part? Or?
I didn't hear it, but I believe you.
Yeah. So that whole ending, the second half of that episode is really strong. The first half still has like some stuff. Like there's Scrooge giving that like speech on the table with like all the random allies and like this again is just like reminding you of like, hey, look, these are all the good side characters. You got like Gizmo Duck and Lena and
so many
librarian.
Dark. And of course, what's his name? The purple guy.
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, the ongoing joke of Darkwing not being respected is a good one.
I love the reveal that Fenton's mom knew all along that he was Gizmo Duck. I mean, unrealistic.
Yeah,
a mom would know that.
She's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's also like that whole fight in the highway. That's Scrooge enters playing to bagpipes, which I feel like we haven't gotten as much Scrooge in season 2 as we did in season 1, so this also felt like a good return. Yeah, it's been a Della season, but like the finale was a good return to form for Scrooge, in my opinion. So good for Scrooge to like take arms here, and the Mickey stuff is good. Also, like Donald and Della finally getting their reunion, like that was,
and they fight. That was so funny. I love like they're such siblings. Scrooge gets it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you get first the yelling at each other, but then it's like, we did miss each other, and they hug and cry. And it feels great. So that.
That's great. What about the dueling generations of like with the cousins and the triplets and Webby?
Wait, who are the cousins? I'm sorry.
The Feathery, Gladstone, Donald.
That was nice too.
Yeah. Were people clamoring for Feathery's return?
I don't know, but I love the part though when Dewey was like, "I'm the Uncle Donald." I mean,
when they're like all posing, he's like, "Oh no, is this what this means?"
Yeah, I guess Feathery is important because he brings this giant krill or his sea creature.
Misty!
Misty, is that what it's called? Okay.
Or Misty, I don't know.
Misty, maybe, yeah. So he brings them back to the fight. So we can talk a little bit about Launchpad and Penumbra because that's like the weird part of that finale because I was also taken aback by this.
You were? Okay, good.
Yeah, because like as mentioned, Launchpad, his thing throughout the show is that he has girlfriends
and also men.
And also the fact that we actually seen Penumbra's face. the whole gag is all Launchpad girlfriends. We never really got a clear view of them. Either they're off screen, they're far away, like in the distance, or they have or in this case of one of the comic books, they have a space helmet over their face. So it's weird.
Yeah, like Launchpad's love life should be kept off screen because it's funnier that way. Now, am I gonna have to deal with a season of Launchpad trying to impress Penumbra? Like, I'm not sure I want that.
You should know the best Launchpad ship is Launchpad and Drake Mallard. So, Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, but Penumbra. Also, I guess the question is like, are all these moon people gonna like stay in the story, or the like? I don't know. Like Penumbra might just like show for like 2 episodes. That's season 2.
Are they some of them maybe gonna move on to Earth maybe because they liked it? I did like how at the end when the fighting was over, you did see one of the moon people hug one of the Earthlings, like saying I'm sorry for everything they did. That was a nice detailed thing.
Yeah, and like we do the thing that you do with the villain, where the villain is like, "I'm gonna kill all the people that helped me because I'm gonna kill the Earth," and then everybody's like, "Oh, he's a bad guy after all," and so now all these moon people are happy to be around Earth again. So yeah, but yeah, Penumbra. I don't think she had as big a role in the finale as I would have expected because she kind of only shows up at the end to be like
very, very last second.
She literally shows up out of nowhere to crash her ship into the machine.
I thought she was dead. I was like, "Whoa, that got dark." But also, good job stopping the evil guy.
I love how Della's ready to introduce her whole family to her like that. That was sweet.
Yeah, and like the whole thing of Della being made unsure if they're actually friends, but then as soon as she comes back, it's like, yeah, we are friends after all. So it's like the rekindling of the friendship hopefully happens.
We'll see. Hopefully, Penumbra released in the season 3 premiere.
Now, in terms of the lead up to to this finale, we have 2 like main arcs or 3 main arcs. Let's talk about Glomgold first, I guess, because GlomTales is just an episode that from the very beginning, the special intro. I need like what stood out to you guys the most of the intro, because that was a piece of art.
How low budget it was, like the weird scribbles and the awfully awkward like 3D stuff, and just like the creepy puppet show when he's like, "Our budget's gone now," like that. Just like the jankiness of it was my favorite.
But for me, it was just how low budget, but they had 3D, and how that does not coincide together because 3D represents big budget. So.
Yeah, but it was like 1980s Dire Straits CG. It was really the basic blocky stuff.
No backgrounds, nothing.
And like also there's like a moment where he like blends into the green screen. So like somehow like his kilt is green screen, which is weird because it's like it's plaid probably, right? And like GlomTales is just pasted everywhere. His face is pasted on all the characters.
I know, he's so good.
It very much fits the Glomgold aesthetic of make everything about me as cheaply as possible. So
it's a very slapdash kind of duck, so that checks out.
Yeah, and of course he himself is singing the intro, which in itself is just great to hear his voice trying to be melodic. So yeah, Glomgold is great.
And I think the theme song was too long for him. He did not plan on this theme song being that long. So, like halfway through, he's ready to stop.
Because he didn't plan for those many minutes. I agree, Steve. That's a good point.
Wow, Glomgold not being great at planning? That's shocking to me.
It's shocking, yeah.
Let's take it back up. He saved the Earth, man. He's our savior. Let's show a little respect.
Yeah. Look, I'm also going to recognize his shortcomings, but that the shortcomings make him who he is. So
Yeah, well, I'm sure if General Linares knew more about him, he would just feel so ashamed and embarrassed that he lost it because of him. Like. Yeah. He probably can never live that down. Maybe he's happier of just being stranded in space, and so we don't have to face anybody after that embarrassment.
Yeah. The GlomTales is comprised of Glomgold slowly building up this villain team up. So we get a check-in with everybody, with the Beagle Boys, with Mark Beeks, with eventually recruiting Magica.
Don Carnage.
Don Carnage is in there too. Do you guys have a favorite part of this episode?
I don't know. I did like though, the birthday, how Magica works at a Funko, and I like how Funzo himself talks down to her the spell. What did I say about wishing death on children or something like that? And she said not to. The way she said not to was so adorable. So.
Well, what you find adorable, I found very saddening, is the scene of a broken person. Just totally have lost their purpose in life.
And then what she realized, though, she wanted to put a curse, get rid of all children, curses on all children with birthdays. Don't you realize that's all children? Because everybody has a birthday. What person does not? I kind of want to meet that.
Maybe Magica doesn't have a birthday. Maybe she wasn't birthed or hatched, really. Maybe that's it! She's only wishing death on the mammals, but not, the fowl children.
Do fowls not celebrate birthdays?
They're hatch days. They're not births.
Well, that's still a birth. It's just a different method.
It's different. That doesn't count. No umbilical cord doesn't count.
Oh, and I'm still realizing the reveal, though. Remember in the very second episode of the series that Funko was taken down by the Beagle Boys, and knowing who he is now, I'm like, he should have been able to take them.
I don't know. I think maybe he's biding his time for something.
Yeah. But hopefully next season, though, I want to see him get his little revenge on the Beagles.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and Glomgold gets everybody to join in through the theme of family, and then of course
family's the biggest scheme of all. I love Glomgold.
And really, it was when I mentioned family, I thought definitely Magica should have been I'm out. Because family has done nothing but bad to me. Family betrays you, and ruins your plans. I thought they were
going to have Goldie team up, not Magica, honestly. I thought that was way more Scrooge's biggest enemy. Because she gets away with it. Magica didn't get away with it.
Well, first of all, Glomgold would never trust her again, so even
That's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah, Glomgold and Goldie already have history, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides, his like I said, his goal was to destroy Scrooge, and all Goldie wants is he just wants cash and money and treasures.
I will say the thing of Glomgold pasting the villains' faces on trying to find a match with the Scrooge's family, that reminded me very much of you, Steve. That feels like a thing that you do,
I guess so.
Trying to connect different characters and parallels.
Yeah.
So.
I'm lying. You're right. Though, the only match that really did not match really was Webby and Magica, except for the fact that Webby hates Magica's guts. So that kind of goes with it, but I don't think.
Well, they described it as an unpredictable wild card, and in that sense, I can kind of see it.
Uh-huh.
Magica is a real wild card in terms of you never know if she's going to be pathetic or amazing. It could go either way.
I love how the Beagles and the others' reaction though. That when Glomgold said, "Why do we want her in the team? She lost most of her powers," and the others were like, "She's probably biding her time." And she does a little magic trick, and they're all clapping.
Yeah.
And do the Beagles know though that technically Magica was the one who masterminded the whole destroying Ma Beagle's birthday party? That was, her idea.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Remember back in Nina's debut episode? But technically Magica ruined Ma Beagle's birthday, and now they're working together.
Yeah, the desire to ruin Scrooge heals all wounds, I guess. But at the end, when Glomgold decides to turn on them as soon as he gets their resources, it's you're all poured out, and I'm great. And then Louie turns his scheme, and so Glomgold gets beaten up, and so we don't see him again until the finale. But that whole rise and fall was very Glomgold, so good. Anyone
disappointed though we did not see just for the villains turn the other villains help save the world in Moonvasion because, you know,
it's kind of weird that only Glomgold shows up, but Glomgold has nothing to lose except to show up Scrooge at something. So,
well, actually, no, correction. We did see Beaks in the Moonvasion, so at least one of them, but more of a side character.
Yeah. So Glomgold was very strong in GlomTales and in the finale.
Actually, I just realized it'd be cool if we saw Magica and Beaks maybe bond over like having a family member turn on them because with Magica, with Lena, and with Beaks, Boyd, pretty much similar stuff.
Sure. Speaking of family turning on each other, Louie is a big piece of this lead up to the arc because Timephoon is basically Louie doing one of the get rich quick schemes that fails. We get at the end, Della like shutting him down, and
Good.
GlomTales Louie decides to like play the villains by but still getting his reward in terms of the company. And then Richest Duck in the World is about him like dealing with the rise of riches. So, Michelle, how did you feel about some green shirts and
thank you
about his whole deal in these episodes?
I mean, I think it's kind of great. I feel like we've definitely had green shirt episodes, but I feel like giving him a mini arc is so close to the finale weirdly works pretty good. And I mean, I will say like, part of the reason I appreciated Della grounding him is because I'm pretty sure Green Shirt was the one sibling who like didn't know how to feel about her coming back. Mm-hmm. So they had the most distance already. So I feel like the fact that she ends up grounding him of all of them is kind of necessary just like for their personal relationship to each other as mother and son, because they had the most distance and they haven't really hung out. Like she's hung out with Blue Shirt, they've done adventure-y stuff. She's hung out with Red Shirt and gone into the video game. Has she really hung out with Green Shirt?
She had a Bonnie episode with Webby and Launchpad of all people.
Yeah, so. She needed something, and I feel like grounding him makes the most sense because he is always kind of just like looking to get money and to get his own, and not really. He's not honestly a huge team player, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It helps him stand out from his brothers. But I really liked the arc. I mean, I honestly was so proud of him for double crossing like all the bad guys. But then also when Scrooge came at the end, I was like, okay, great, you're gonna transfer the money to me now. And he's like, and Scrooge is like, what? Well, and then he like, does it, and he like legitimately becomes the richest duck in the world, and it's terrible. But he sure tries. Well, I think that's honestly pretty great.
Well, I can understand a little bit the fact that in Louis' perspective, the last few weeks, adults have done nothing but screw him over, so him just wanting to get back at them, I kind of get it, Well,
it's like, if you could be that rich, like, why would you give it up, even for family? I kind of get it. Yeah. And then it, like, ends up not being what he wants, but he would never know it's not what he wanted unless he tried it out first. So I feel like this is good closure for him. He's happy to be wealthy, but now he doesn't necessarily need to be the richest duck in the world, because he's already done it, and it didn't suit him.
Well, he's gonna start over doing it his own way.
Exactly.
And the person let's talk stand up. Person I'm most proud of has to be Alson. I mean, good for her, finally standing up for herself and doing her own way here. I mean, all she's been like, she's a competent businesswoman. She knows all this stuff, and all she has all these men who think they know everything, who don't ignore her advice, don't show her any respect. So good for you, Alson.
Okay, that was very tangential to our Louie conversation, but I guess we can get that out of the way. Michelle, do you have any Allison thoughts?
Yeah. I like Allison a lot. I hope she becomes a millionaire. I think being in that kind of advisory role can be very thankless, and clearly we've seen it be nothing but a struggle for her, whoever she's working with. So
don't you think though there's some layers here of just sexism among her, like this like lack of respect from her bosses of her advice? Like we know it are women. We know it better than this woman. Don't you think there's any misogyny?
I would say DuckTales as a show has been very conscious of how it treats characters of, all of its other female characters, I think are perfectly fine. I think for her, I think it's more of an issue of her job title and what she ends up having to do in relation to the people she works for than necessarily her gender, but they do things tied together. But again, even if that's true, at the end of the season, she's like, yo, I'm not about this anymore. I'm gonna go do something for me and be richer than all y'all, and you can F off. I'm out. And that's pretty great. So I feel like even if it was bad before, she's pretty redeemed now.
Yeah.
Right, and in the show, she frames it as all you millionaires here are very reckless with your money. You're not professionals at all. So she frames it from that sense, she's educated, and these people just kind of lucked into their money somehow. So that angle is also one that comes with very different points of view. So that concludes our Allison talk for today. Back to Louie. I will say that there was one moment in, I think it's GlomTales, where Louie is grounded and he's got the robot to keep him in check. And there's a point where he breaks down and he's stop, schemes is the one thing I'm good at and I'm being punished for. That part kind of touched me a little bit, because throughout the show, I think a theme has been these nephews finding a role in the whole family dynamic, and it does seem like Louie has always been the kind to be on the outside looking in and not really knowing what he's contributing. So that sentiment felt very strong, and so it felt also good when Della is trying to include Louie later on in the final 2 episodes. I think there's at some point where she does call back to and I need someone to help me find all the angles, try to include Louie in the whole thing. So Louie is a character that he's got some problems, but I think that this arc that does good by him and giving him the emotional connection.
Yeah.
So
Good for green shirt.
Yeah, good for green shirt.
Good for green shirts.
Michelle, is green shirt your favorite of the shirts? 3 shirts now?
No. I enjoy him a lot, but honestly, I think I kind of like blue shirt. He grew on me. I love his dynamic with Webby platonically, because they're family. But I mean, the fact that he has this ridiculous show that's just cardboard people watching him, and his spirit of adventure, I don't know, I think he's fun. He's a good time, but they're all good. They're all genuinely good with distinct personalities.
I love them all too. I don't know who my favorite. I gotta say probably Louie, probably green shirt, because I don't know, he seems just to be more like me in terms of I'm less likely to want to go on a dangerous adventure. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, maybe Huey, I'm sort of a nerd like Huey in terms of knowing facts and stuff, and I hate being wrong about stuff, so I don't know. He might be the one I most relate to.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, and sort of related to Louie, we've got Adela here as well. She's kind of got the arc of learning how to be a good parent, and we got Della and Beakley fighting throughout Timephoon in terms of how to treat the children. That Della is very dismissive of Beakley's advice until the end, and
I love
learns.
I love the part that when Della's the K Duck on the skateboard, she's like, next time, you make sure he's wearing a helmet. And she's so proud of herself.
Yeah. She's like, oh, good advice, me. I did a great job there being a parent.
Yeah. But I guess that kind of lackadaisical style is why at the end, it feels very strong. She comes down on Louie hard and just introduces this idea of grounding that I don't think has been done to these nephews ever. So good.
I'm sure Donald did it a lot, honestly. I feel like he's a very, these are the ground rules kind of parent.
Yeah, we do need some Donald flashbacks.
But
seeing how he deals
with
these kids.
Feel though the nephew's always able to maybe con their way out of like grounded. They can sneak out more easily with Donald and stuff. Well, Della, she like we saw in GlomTales, like she was
She has
ready
the
for...
mind of a kid still. She knows what they're thinking before they do.
Yeah. The robot was very persistent in terms of keeping in check there.
And what about the very fan favorite character back, Bubba, who everyone loves?
Who knows who he is?
It's these DuckTales 1987 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, he was not in the show before that I remember.
And really, fans, a lot of people did not like him in the original. Just like a lot of people didn't like Doofus or Webby for that matter in the original. So, kind of weird that they brought him back, but I did like
This is amazing. Bubba grew on me.
He did?
I did like.
Okay.
Yeah, he grew on me. I mean, he's a good guy. He helped them, and he can skateboard, and he wore shades, and he can ride a triceratops. I mean, there's a lot to admire about
I feel
it.
like this is the plot of some 90s movies where it's like Caveman unfrozen, and we need to make him be cool.
That's actually a movie. Encino Man.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, there's like movies exactly like this. Like, we need to make the caveman cool. Give him sunglasses and teach him how to skateboard.
If that's really a movie, we have to watch it sometime. It's amazing.
I like that they acknowledge the fact that dinosaurs and cave people do not exist in the same time. So thank you, show, for acknowledging that.
Yeah, I do appreciate Red Shirt losing his mind over being wrong about the past. He had so many bonkers facial expressions, and they were so good. I honestly wanted to change my Discord icon to one of them because they're just so good. They really I love seeing this side of him, this unhinged side. It's really fun.
Yeah, he doesn't like his beliefs being challenged.
Well, and I think that takes a little bit after after Scrooge. I think Scrooge sometimes can be like that too, very stubborn, set in his ways.
Mm-hmm. But Bubba also learns to enjoy chili dogs. Have you guys ever eaten a chili dog recently?
I don't know.
I will say that chili dogs are very messy and it tastes good.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, you say first corn and now chili dogs, foods that keep following us everywhere we go. Well, Alex and Michelle,
are chili dogs following us everywhere we go?
Remember the Sonic episode OKKO?
Yeah, was there chili dogs there?
Yeah, that was a main thing. The Sonic and Tails got lured there because Daryl had a poster for chili dogs or something.
Have you guys
fully blacked that out?
Have you guys ever heard the Bubba theme song?
No,
there's
a
theme song.
I posted it on the Discord a few days ago. You guys gotta check it out.
Okay.
If you post it again, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, it's they mentioned in the episode for a second, when Dewey's here's Bubba's thing, Bubba. That's all I got so far.
Okay. Oh yeah, they do reference.
They do,
that.
yeah. Blue Shirt sings it. It's really good.
Yeah, so we got that. One random detail I want to bring out of the way in the richest duck in the world, that episode. I mean, well, I guess I'll open that up since we haven't really talked about that episode. Louie wants to be richest duck in the world. He gets it, but as a result, he gets this curse. There's a monster involved, and on the side, it's Della being introduced to Dewey Do Nights, and slowly coming to the potential realization that Penumbra might not have liked her as much as she thought she did, and it ends with the message. So,
but I thought that realization is healthy for their relationship for when they do get reunited and stuff. That Della kind of knows that and is able just to start anew in their relationship. So, got that out of the way.
I guess, yeah. Michelle, anything from this episode that stood out to you?
I forgot
I mean,
we're talking about. We keep jumping around.
Yeah. Well, richest duck in the world is
Richest duck in the world. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say this isn't the most stand out of the episodes.
Well,
it's my least favorite, but I still think it's a good episode.
I love seeing young Scrooge though in the 70s outfit.
I do think it's hilarious that Scrooge is so wealthy he doesn't understand how inflation works. So after he shined that guy's shoes and used all of his rags, he only asked for 10 cents. That is not how much you should ask for in 2019.
He still got shifted on it though.
No, he did.
And rarely people wear shoes here. Like really, like the only Lena might be the only person that wears shoes in this universe. So
that was really strange. Like that moment where he just like realizes, wait a minute, do people not wear shoes anymore?
Well, some of them do. I wonder if it's like a class thing. Like if you're a really fancy business person, you don't wear shoes, but if you're like older school, you do or something.
I don't explain Lena. She wears shoes. She's not exactly like very rich, so
maybe that's why.
Well, maybe it's like a vintage thing.
Yeah,
maybe she's blue collar. Who knows?
She's just cool. She knows just too cool for school.
Yeah.
Is that still a word?
Yes, that's still an ironic phrase, I guess.
And bye, guys. I posted here on the chat the Bubba theme song. So you guys, when we're done, you want to react to it?
No, thanks. Any final thoughts? Is like anything else that we haven't really touched upon, or something that you want to give as final thoughts, Michelle?
From anything?
Yeah, and anything before we say goodbye. Is there anything that you wanted to leave off with?
When Green Shirt stole the time machine and Launchpad sees and freaks out and Green Shirt's like, I know what you're gonna say, and Launchpad goes, you have your own tub? Lucky! Like, oh my god, he was just so funny in that episode, but I was like, yo, same. I love baths too. Like, I feel like Launchpad.
Oh, I love though seeing Webby in her retro 60s outfit. I thought that was kind of...
that looked really cool, actually, when she came back through time.
Oh, she needs to keep that. And next time she has her little slumber party with Lena and Violet, show off that stuff.
Themed. Yeah.
One of them came back as a pirate. I think Beakley was when it came back as a pirate.
Yeah. So I just had like a suit of armor on.
Yeah.
That I can believe.
Yeah, I can believe that too.
Yeah, so... Okay, Steve, any final thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, Glassstone Feathery, murderers, they're monsters, killing poor Mickey. I mean,
Mickey deserved it.
I don't know. I'm excited though. See what happens next season. I'm like you, Alex. I mean, I love spy versus spy stuff. This is going to be fun. And like I said, I love Get Smart. So this is going to be awesome. And you know who's coming next season? Daisy's finally going to show up. I'm so excited for that. And also, I guess Dylan's favorite, Goofy's going to be here next season too.
All right. So with that, we have concluded our DuckTales Season 2 coverage. Thank you for following along. You can find out all the info on this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can join us on Discord if you want to chat with us. As Steve mentioned, there is a DuckTales channel. You can find that at overlyanimated.com/Discord. You can support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, James, aka Ironwood. Thanks to our Patreon executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Besides DuckTales, as mentioned, we've covered OKKO recently. That show wrapped up. We've got a Steven Universe movie coverage, a Miraculous Ladybug, Phoenix Basket, Final Space, Undone. We recently had a podcast on. So
Final Space does also have Scrooge on the show. So
David Tennant, yes.
Yeah.
So
Angie,
yeah. So there's a lot of varied animation we cover here on the podcast. So feel free to check those out as well. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay classy.